Are you? How's it going out there? Today is Wednesday. True to form, I never know what day it is. Today is Wednesday. We're coming to the end of February. Beautiful March is upon us, and I'm just excited to see what the world is bringing. I feel surrounded by really awesome people. Um, the low points are tolerable. 2021, though shaping up to be a bizarre year, maybe even more bizarre than 2020, is still bringing a lot of gifts, a lot of gifts for all of us. So thank you for joining me. I'm going to do my best to make this one of the shorter videos that I do. Thank you for the hearts. I see them coming in. Thank you for the hearts and likes. It always helps me to get the hearts, likes, and the comments, because then I know that what I'm saying is like landing, because I like to make sure that I'm being thorough and answering questions. So today I'm talking about a subject that I think I'll keep addressing and readdressing. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Alexandra Loves. I teach anti-racism from a spiritual perspective. It is one leg of my work. The general work I do is helping women create their lives by being who they are. But it seemed that in 2020 and 2021, I need to focus in on this. So please let me know in the comments where you're coming from. Say hello. I want you to know that I do not shame. I don't use shaming. I don't use guilting in my work. I'm real about it, but my job is to keep opening doors. So I want to talk to you about something that is highly disappointing, but I also understand. And both these things can be true. I also want to say that a lot of stuff that I might say in my videos, if you take it out of context, it's not going to sound great. So I always encourage you to sort of listen to the whole thing. And if you're feeling like activated or triggered by it or whatever, to listen to the whole thing again before reacting. Okay. Some of my best teachers have been like that. They'll say things that I'm like, what? Wait, what? And then I have to like calm myself and be like, oh, I see where they're going. I see what they're saying. It's like there's like a whole spectrum and a holisticness to everything they're talking about. They're trying to touch all parts of this thing that I'm interacting with. So hello, thank you for being here. I see there are people here. Don't leave me hanging. Light it up in the comments and the hearts and the likes, so I know you're here. Okay, so I want to talk about this thing that's very disappointing, but I also understand why. And that is this sense that people are sort of like done talking about racism. People are sort of done because they're busy, because they, something happened in their life, because they have to move, because they have sickness in the family, because whatever the reason. It's highly disappointing, because this is why it's highly disappointing, and please stay with me. It's highly disappointing because for some of us to walk away from these subjects, it is a privilege, okay? And I talked a lot about that in a different video you can find in my YouTube or my Facebook. If you are white, to not talk about it, to not engage with it, this is a privilege that you have, okay? It doesn't mean that you being busy, it doesn't mean you being fatigued about it is invalid. That's valid. We're all tired. Nobody wants to spend their time talking about the trauma of the world. No, I mean, we do to heal it, but nobody like wakes up in the morning and is like, yay, I get to immerse myself in something that really, really hurts, So anyway, my point is that for some of us, it's a privilege. For some of us, it's just like, I just cannot, right? And I get that, but it's also very disappointing because look, the only way that we are going to dismantle this thing, the only way that we're going to get to a point where we don't need to be focusing on it anymore is if we engage with it. So I want to say it's highly disappointing to hear that. It's highly disappointing. It makes me sad when I hear that, but I also understand, because as somebody that, I am doing this education, I'm helping people and guiding people through this. And I have days where I'm like, I don't want to hear anything I don't want to hear the word racism. Do not speak to me. I don't want to talk about any of this stuff. And yet I have to kind of sit back and like get into my own self-care and know that like, I have to find a balance of putting this in my life in a flow that makes sense for me. Okay, so I want to introduce you to an idea There's many reasons why. There's many reasons why you are tired of hearing about racism and white supremacism. There's it's in our media. It's in every industry. It's frustrating if you don't know anything about what people are talking about, because it sounds like alien, right? But I want to explain something that you might be witnessing in Black communities, in Hispanic communities, in Asian communities, and Indigenous communities. And I want to be really clear about what I'm talking about. And this is going to help you in your interaction, so you don't feel so tired and you don't feel so like, I don't want to deal with it. So I want you to think of a tantrum, okay? And want to get really clear about this. I'm not saying that Black people or Indigenous people or any marginalized community is having a tantrum, like any person is having a tantrum, okay? That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about looking at this as an energy, right? As the movement that is happening, all right? I'm going to talk about children. When children have a tantrum, okay? Right? Like they blow up, they're on the floor, they're banging their head, they're throwing things, they're saying things to you, they'll say, "I hate you," When a child has a tantrum, it is not just about the fact that they can't have the cookie. When a child has a tantrum, it is not about the fact that the sky is blue, because I've seen that tantrum. The sky is blue and there's a tantrum, okay? The tantrum is about everything that came before, okay? All the things that came before are they couldn't tie their shoelaces. They don't want to wear 5 layers when they go outside. They were trying to communicate something and they couldn't quite communicate it to you because they don't have the words. They were feeling something for not being able to get the sleep they needed from the night before. And so now they're tired, but they don't know how to say, like, I need a nap. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And sometimes it's stuff that happens like in that day. Sometimes it's things that have been happening that they're sort of like cognitively working on over that month or that week. Sometimes it has to do with the growing pains of getting bigger. It's a whole bunch of stuff that happens before they get to that place of pressure where it's like the tantrum happens, is like all the frustration, all of the disconnected energy, all of the trying and having tried again, having tried again, and having tried again, all of the not being heard, all of how it feels in the body, all of it is what explodes in the tantrum. So I want you to start looking at what you are seeing in racism, all the things that we're saying, all the things that Black people are saying with their megaphones on the street, all the things that you're seeing said maybe in your own workplace and in communities about racism, white supremacism. All of that's happening right now is the energy of a tantrum. Again, I'm not saying that the individuals are having a tantrum. I'm saying it's the energy of a tantrum. The reason that it is so difficult to engage with is that it is heavy. It is people expressing not just their lifetime, but living in a system that goes back and back and further back. Do you dig? Do you see what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments, even if you're watching a replay, because I will re-explain it in texting if I have to, right? So what you are experiencing is a tantrum. And so now I'm going to go back to little kids. When a little kid is, or sometimes not a little kid, sometimes a little older, sometimes it's actually an adult. So I'm going back to this analogy. When we see the tantrum, we have some choices. What I see a lot of what I have done. Okay, I'll use me as an example. What I have done in the past before I really truly understand working with kids, and I was much younger and I was not I wasn't an adult working with kids. I was a kid working with kids under supervision. The kid would have a tantrum and I'd be like, why are you having a tantrum? I don't know what is happening. I'd be like, I'm trying to help you. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. Like, do you want this? I would take that energy into myself and just like, blah, right? And over time, as I, learned about kids and worked with kids and had mentors and was in schools and had to start developing my own lesson plans and learning about the psychology of children and all of that stuff, I found out about this pressure. Like, it's about other stuff. It's not actually about the cookie. It's not actually about the sky not being the shade blue that the kid wants it to be. It's this pressure letting out. It's a whole bunch of other stuff. And so what I learned was to allow this thing to happen and to say, I'm listening. You do what you need to do. I'm listening. I understand that this is about more than what I can even perceive or understand. And what I don't do is feel guilty about what's happening. What I don't do is take on all the frustration and everything. What I do is I take care of my own energy and I say, yes, this is real. And this is how I work with kids now. I say, yes, this is real and this is valid. And I understand why you feel this way, and you do what you need to do. And as the caregiver, I then, okay, as the person who's interacting with this child, I then start to take a little bit more notice in like what's happening in that child's day as we move forward. Is this frustrating this kid? Is this something, can I do something here? Can I be a better listener? Can I maybe get them out of their car seat a little faster? So I'm looking for the ways that makes it build up. And in that way, I'm being an ally to this child, and they're not going to have as many tantrums, right? There's a journey is different. I'm talking generally, but the journey is a little different all the time. Now, going back to talking about racism, white supremacism, what you are experiencing on social media and in these movements and maybe in your workplace and around your friends that is tiring you out and fatiguing you. You are experiencing the energy of a tantrum. Again, I'm not saying that Black people are in tantrum. I'm not saying that Hispanic people are in a tantrum. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the energy of all of it together. You are witnessing something that goes really far back. And when you see these explosions happening, you're feeling these explosions, and you react in a way that's like, do I have to be responsible for everything? Do I have to be guilty? I'm not racist. I'm not racist. All lives matter. When you do that, you're missing an opportunity to be of service. You're missing opportunity to learn. You're missing opportunity to listen. You're missing the opportunities to be allies in the way you want to be an ally without fatiguing yourself. A lot of the reactions I see people having to when they see Black Lives Movement, or when they see somebody expressing their oppression, or when in a lot of the interactions on Facebook, I see a lot of people showing up and wanting to, and like getting sucked into emotions that take over instead of really understanding the overall issue that's at hand. And they miss opportunities to be the allies that they want to be, and they end up tiring themselves out. And then we get, I'm too busy for this. I can't pay attention to this. I want to do the work. I want to do the work. Oh, no, not now. It's not for me. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So I want you to does this make sense? Let me know if this makes sense to you. Please do not take anything I'm saying out of context and think of like the spectrum, what I'm talking about. So what my suggestion to you today is when you experience this tantrum energy, not meaning that the person is having a tantrum, but what they are expressing is from a tantrumed energy that's been going on a long time. They're expressing not just their lifetime. They're talking about like a whole system and how far back it goes, and their family and what they've had to deal with and what it is like to interact with you. Okay. So they're expressing in that mode, but they are not necessarily having a tantrum themselves. I want to make that really clear. And you take into account what I've said about you listen. You create space for it to happen. You create space for their expression of the overall tantrum to come out, okay? You will find opportunity to be the ally you want to be. You will find that you will learn so much more, and you will find that you won't be in this position of what's very disappointing, and that is like, I'm too busy, I can't look at it, I'm tired of it, okay? You're not going to wear yourself out on it. So my suggestion to you is to deal with your feelings. Go work on your valid feelings about all this racism stuff. Go work on your feelings, okay? Find your way that makes sense for you to do the work you want to do. If you want to be an ally and accomplish whatever it is, find your way. Commit to it. Let it be part of the flow of your life. If you do this from a place of, I teach always from a place of spirit. If you find in your spirit like why you are paying attention to things of race, why you're activated or triggered, or why you're curious about it, if you find in your spirit, if you start coming fueled from that place, then all of this racism stuff won't feel like clocking in at work. It won't feel like this thing that you have to go through. It will be something that just fits into the flow of your life. It's just something that you do. It just fits into the flow of your life. And it's not just healing for the marginalized community, the person you're helping. It's also healing for you, because I'll tell you, white supremacism, racism, injustice, oppression, it screws all of us. It's not just about the marginalized communities. When you find a way to be a part of the solution, it's good for all of us, healing for all of us, and that will also take pressure off of you. So I just want to share that with you today. And no, I put all of my offerings in the post of this video. Please, of course, like and tag and share and all of that, all of that good stuff. And know that the last sort of live course I'll be teaching, it comes up in March, is not something I'm putting out into the world. I only want to do it with people who want to do this work, are financially challenged, and want to work with, you know, a woman of color, and are, you know, ready to commit to an environment that is non-shaming, not guilt, no shaming, no guilting, healing and empowering, and want to look at this through like the eyes of like what's inside them, like spirit, right? So I put all of that in this post. Let me know how this is landing for you. I love reading the comments no matter where they show up. Blessings to you. May your ancestors move all of the obstacles out of your way. May you be embraced. May you be safe and healthy. Mwah. Bye.